Today on Let's Talk About It, we will discuss body image, and then later we will have Christy Bender join us to share a beautiful journey that she has taken. This past month has been incredibly difficult for me to navigate. 9 people have passed away, a house fire of friends, and a horrible car accident of a family member. So much pain and so many questions with absolutely no answers. And I hate it. And sometimes I don't know what to do with it all because I'm angry, frustrated, and very sad. One mystery after another, so deeply longing for answers that never seem to come. It's here that I can stay, trying to navigate it all on my own, or I can choose a different way. That way is to say, yes, God, I'm mad, and I wish it was not this way, but I will not take my eyes off of you. I will sit at your feet, crying, maybe even yelling, but still trusting in who you are. I know it's here that there is peace, there is hope, and it's where I find my strength to live out this crazy life. It's a place where I find comfort. It's a place where, even though I still don't have the answers, I absolutely find hope. This life isn't easy or how I always hoped it would look, but this I know. I cannot do it without him, and I don't want to do it without him. I know what it is to do it without him, and I don't like who I am. I don't like the feelings I feel. So instead, I choose to, in the unknown, trust. I stay in his word, and I keep moving forward until the day when he returns, and there is no more pain, no more tears. Revelation 21:4 says, "He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, keeping my eyes on you. In fact, seeing things through your eyes. I just bet when we do that, it changes our perception, our perspective. And that's just what we need in this time of so many unknowns. And we are just 3 ladies, all with big opinions, always backed by a biblical standpoint. So let's talk about it.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
When it's time for a new roof, Champion Roofing is your best choice. We're a certified award-winning roofing contractor, meaning your roof is done right the first time. Call today.
Champion Roofing, we're the solution.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. And ladies, today's question is kind of based off my life a little bit right now, and we're going to talk about body image. To be honest, it was never something that I struggled with the last couple years of my 20 years of my life. It just was who I was, you know. I was very comfortable in my skin, and yeah, and now that I've lost some weight, I am having a little different outlook on things, and I don't like it. So I thought we'd talk about it.
It makes a difference when other people notice, oh, you're losing weight, you know.
I mean, I love the compliments. It's very nice to hear that people are seeing it, but there is a little bit of like, oh, okay, so what did I look like before?
Right.
You know, but yeah, it's
I think, and somebody said this to me, and the fastest way to kill something is to compare it to something else. And I thought, wow, yeah. We cannot go around comparing ourselves to what society says we should be looking like. We cannot do that. It will kill your self-confidence every single time.
Right. And what I think is interesting is, often we see that we think teenagers, especially girls, can have some body image issues. But as you get older, some of that goes away. It's not as high of a level, maybe.
Well, let me say this. As you get older, it comes back.
Yeah, well, so it's coming back. And I'm like, wow, for 20 years, I was like comfortable in my skin. I didn't care, whatever. I was married, I'm good. And it's just so weird, even when I go to the store and try on clothes, I will still look to buy the same size that I was before and think, well, there's no way I can wear that size. You've got to be crazy. Or I was just telling someone this the other day. I went out to eat and I got a salad and I was like, I'll take the large. And in my mind, I still think that I need the large.
Oh, okay.
And I did not at all need the large. But in my mind is telling me, yes, Kelly, you still eat the large. And so the mind really
is a big part of body image.
Yeah.
It is, and there's a lot that you have to take in here. First of all, nobody in this room is, at this point, is 20 years old anymore.
That's right.
We've all had kids. Things generally don't go back the way they were.
Truth.
There are, like, I've lost some weight over the past year and a half myself, but there are still, I don't care how much weight I lose, there are certain things that I am just not going to be able to wear. It's just not going to be very becoming, and that's just how it is. But I don't really think I didn't think I had a body image issue. But something happened to me Labor Day. It's going to crack you guys up. I was ready to go to this picnic at the lake house, and I'm dressed. I never leave my house without makeup on most of the time. And some face was all done. I'm ready to go. We have to go. We're in a hurry. John's trying. He forgot to make the guac, so he's out there. Well, apparently, something with the jalapenos flipped up, and it must have got on my contact lens. And it was,
my
and
goodness.
I felt my eye burning out of my skull. It automatically.
And your eyes watering.
And it closed shut. And I'm thinking, I know what I need to do here. I need to go in the bathroom and flush my eye out like ASAP. I didn't want to do it because I already had my makeup on. And I didn't want to go to the lake looking like Cruella de Vil. And I didn't have time to start over. And I'm like willing to let my eyeball burn out. And finally I went and I washed my hands with Dawn to get the oil off, and I took the contact lens out. It was like an hour before I could open my eye, and I thought, I'm probably going to end up.
Honestly, you're very fortunate.
I'm very fortunate, but that was stupid. Because the people I was going to be with have seen me when I get up in the morning. We've been on vacations together. Nobody cares. Like, no one cares. But for some reason, I cared that my eye makeup was going to get destroyed. I ended up, well, it came back to bite me because I ended up going to the picnic with one eye completely undone and no contacts. I had to wear my glasses. But who cares?
And because we know what we're going to talk about, I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I have a good body image until I realize how hard on myself I actually am. How hard I set because I didn't realize how hard on myself I am. And that's not good because I am made in the image of Almighty God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I think I look like, I am created in God's image and I am his child.
Yeah, some verses, since you brought that up, that Genesis 1:27 is about being created in his image, or Luke 12:7, even the hairs of your head are all numbered, like God knows. And then Psalm 139:13-16, and all the days of your life were written before you even existed, and we are wonderfully made, and that's where we have to get our minds back onto how he sees us.
Yeah, that's right.
Because how we see ourselves is just screwed up sometimes.
It's warped.
Yeah, it is warped. It really
honestly, we have a guest later on that we are wonderfully made.
Right.
Each one of us
That's right.
is wonderfully made.
Right.
And there is always that scripture that beauty is fleeting.
Yeah.
beauty is fleeting. And have you ever met someone that physically they're beautiful, but internally they're terrible?
Yeah.
And I would much rather,
Yeah.
I would much rather be the other part of that verse. For a woman who fears the Lord is greatly to be praised. We're all going one direction here. We do the best we can, but there's no sense.
The thing is, as Christians, we are all going one direction,
Yes.
to perfection.
Yes, right.
We are actually going to perfection. We will not, cannot, and really don't want to reach perfection in this life, whatever that warped sense of perfection to us is. But we are going toward perfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
We've got to really work on that mindset.
Yes.
I think it probably hits women, maybe not. I think that it hits women harder than men, but I could be wrong
Right.
on that.
Right.
But yeah, we've got to see ourselves like God sees us and really change that mindset around. And it takes work and it takes practice.
It
It
takes
does.
practice.
Yes.
That's exactly, you have to be super intentional.
Right.
Super intentional.
Right. Because, you know, even this summer, I wore shorts last year, and putting shorts on this year was harder for me because of how things.
Because your body's changed.
Yeah, and I'm
Yes.
like, I don't like it. Like before, when it was fat and puffy, well, who cares? That is just, now it's hanging weird, and I don't like it. And I've really had to work of just like, but I want to be comfortable. You know, like I want to not be hot and sweaty out here, and it's taken a lot.
Well, you know, we've all seen people, we talk about it with movie stars, but we all seen people who get work done. We say, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
they should stop having work done. Stop having work done. You know, let's work on the beauty inside.
Yeah.
Let's work on the beauty inside. I need to love myself the way Jesus loves me.
And you know what would be so cool if we recognized that in people
Yes.
more than we recognized, oh, love your dress,
That's
love your
right.
how you've lost weight, you look great.
Yeah.
How about, man, you were so kind
Yes.
and compassionate in
Yep.
that situation.
I saw how nice you were to so and so, and yes,
Yeah.
if we notice those character things, it's going to change the way we see each other
Right.
and ourselves.
And people would more likely do it more because,
bet.
oh, okay, wow.
You bet.
Okay, that did mean something
Yes.
to people.
Yes.
Yes.
But what do we often bring up? The outer.
Absolutely. Oh, your hair looks nice, or oh, you've lost weight, or yeah, yeah.
It's
we do.
tough. It's
It is.
it's
Very
tough
difficult.
being in this world sometimes, and you're telling me it don't get better, and I don't like hearing that.
It gets so much worse.
It does.
Stop saying that. I need it to get better.
But your eyesight gets worse, so that helps.
And your hearing. Yeah. Fun time.
I think the changes that I've made at this point in my life are not so much for vanity, but for health. Just at some point, I had to start caring about my health. Not that I was unhealthy, but it will backfire on you at some point. And I think that's where I've just come to that conclusion that it cannot always be about vanity. It has to be about living your best life and being healthy and that sort of thing.
I'd like to say mine's about health, and it's not even about vanity. It's just I have to take the medicine, and it's what it's doing, and but I don't really have a good reason that I'm. I mean, it's helping me, but yeah. Anyways, I know there are many of you watching this that feel the same exact way, and we really have got to practice having a different mindset when it comes to those things. We are beautifully made in His image. Every day. So when we come back, we will have our guest for the day.
This week on Let's Talk About It, we will discuss nudges, and later we will have Savannah Wenner to share about Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month.
I woke up one day and I was like, okay, something's not right. There were signs. So I went to the doctor, but you know, I had a scan, we saw the baby, there was a healthy heartbeat, we could see him moving. I mean, there was a baby, and they were like, well, it's probably just this. You know, they gave me different things that it could have possibly been.
All that and more coming up on Let's Talk About It.
Impact Productions, a multi-layer technology company providing on-site, online, and in-studio video services. contact Impact Productions to capture your story.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. And today we have a special guest with us. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Sure. My name's Christy Bender. I'm married to my husband Daniel for the past 14 years, and together we have 5 children. Our oldest is Chloe, she's 11. We have a son, Caden, who is 9. Our son, Micah, is turning 6 next week. And then we have Brielle, who is 4, and our son, Nate, who is 20 months old.
Wow.
So, packed house.
Yes,
Busy house.
busy mom.
Yeah, we love it. So I was searching for someone who could come on the show to talk about Down syndrome because October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and 2 ladies gave me your name, so I knew immediately you probably would be a good fit. So, you know, I think it's your youngest, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's your youngest child that we're going to be talking about. So tell us a little bit about prior to him being born and finding out. Did you find out prior?
We did, yeah. So we went for a 20-week ultrasound, and the doctors had found some abnormalities. And each of the abnormalities they found in and of itself might have been an incidental, isolated finding and normal. But they said when we see these together, sometimes it's a risk for genetic issues. So they referred us to the high-risk doctor, and so we had an appointment the next week with the high-risk doctor who repeated the ultrasound. He actually confirmed one of the abnormalities was definitely there and then disproved some of the other abnormalities. So he said most of the time this will be caused by something genetic. And so we have a couple options. We can have an amniocentesis to get 100% proof of what is the underlying cause. Of course, there's some risks involved with an amniocentesis. So he also gave us the option to do this blood test called a non-invasive prenatal test. And it was going to look at my baby's genes and my genes and compare and see. It was going to check for the 3 most common trisomies.
I've heard of an amniocentesis, but not the blood test.
Yeah, I had never heard of it either, but it was, being that it was less invasive and would give us a 95% accuracy in confirming what was going on, we elected to have that done. And so about 2 weeks later, then we got those results. And
Now, were you high risk in any of your other pregnancies for anything?
Yes and no. I have been diabetic with my last 3 pregnancies, so that that kind of puts risk for certain things.
Sure.
Because I am a diabetic type 2. Are you?
I'm not diabetic.
Nothing.
Normally,
Because
just
you're
pregnancy.
very small, and so you
Right.
don't usually think tiny people deal with that.
Pregnancy wrecks your body.
Yeah, it really does.
It does. It wrecks you.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
Yeah. But with this last pregnancy, my age was my biggest risk factor. So I was 36 at the time that we had Nate. And so that's anything above 35 is considered advanced maternal age.
Yep.
Really?
They call you, I forget what they call
Geriatric.
Yes, geriatric.
It's not a pleasant name.
When I
but-
was pregnant with Parker.
I did not
Wow.
know that.
Yep.
Yep.
They think you're old.
Yep. So I think based on my age, the risk is a little higher. And then when we did get those results, then they confirmed that our risk was about 99% chance of having a child with Down syndrome.
So when you find that information out and it's confirmed, what do you do?
Yeah, so processing was hard. I think I had a lot of fear over telling friends and family.
Yes.
Just because I didn't know how they would respond. And
You don't want everybody feeling bad for
Yes,
you.
exactly.
Yes.
I didn't know, you know, if someone responded in a way that didn't feel gracious, I wasn't sure I had the emotional capacity to respond back kindly.
Yeah. I know.
So it was like, oh, I don't even want to share. I don't,
Yes.
because I'm not sure how I will respond to their response. But God was so good because everyone we shared with was so kind and so loving. And there was not a single response that made me think, okay, you're not my friend anymore.
Tell us and our viewers what the good responses were so that we know.
Yeah.
So that we know.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think everyone's going to be different on this, but I think the response that I appreciated was, I love you, I love your baby, I'm praying for you both. There were some responses of celebration, which now I'm like, well, how beautiful, how wonderful that was that they were so kind to celebrate.
Yes. Instead of saying, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes. Saying
I'm so sorry
is hard to hear.
No.
Because you don't want somebody being sorry
That's right.
that you had this beautiful baby, because it doesn't matter. It was going to be beautiful to her no matter what.
That's right.
Exactly.
No matter what.
Oh, yeah.
And that is like such a punch in the gut, because he's beautiful, isn't he?
Yes, he's wonderful. Truly.
All right.
So,
I'm gonna
yeah.
cry, too.
So I would say when I had people celebrating, and actually this was a family that I had grown up with who had a child with Down syndrome, and my mom told me they celebrated, and part of me was like, I'm not sure how to take that.
Yeah.
But a few weeks later,
through a roller coaster of emotions.
sure, yes, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, I so appreciate that they celebrated, because he is something to celebrate. He is a joy and a precious gift.
I love that. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I never looked at it like that. So thank you for sharing on that end, because, yeah, you don't want to say like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing to be sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard because I understand, yes, my expectations changed, and maybe there is a grieving process for the child I thought I was going to get and the child that I am gifted with. So there is some grieving over that.
Yeah.
But in the end, I don't want to be sorry about it. And I don't want anyone else to be sorry about it. I want them to celebrate, and I want it to be joyful.
Wow.
Right.
So you go through the process and the journey of it, and then he's born, and it's, he does have Down syndrome. Now, is there different levels to that, or is it like, I don't know?
So there are 3 different types of Down syndrome. The most common, I think it's like 95%, is trisomy 21, where the whole, that 23rd chromosome is extra. And so there's 2 other types. One's called mosaic and one's called translocation, where like a piece of the 23rd chromosome gets attached somewhere else, or not the full chromosome gets added in somewhere, but the most common is that 3rd chromosome.
So how did life change for you for the better, or what were some of the struggles?
Yeah, so
Because you had 4 kids at home.
Yeah.
Yes. One of the things that has changed for the better was that I have more gratitude now.
As a mom or as a human?
As a mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I got the news that, it was actually after the first ultrasound when we realized something could be wrong. It really changed my perspective, because I was in this dry season of motherhood, of really just seeing all the struggles and the challenges, and I was selfish. I was just recognizing I'm giving up my sleep, I'm giving up my time, I'm giving up everything, and what am I getting in return? I wasn't really seeing it as God's calling or God's purpose for me to grow. And so after we got the news that my baby might not be healthy, it really changed my perspective. It really made me grateful for each one of my kids in a new way.
That is, I appreciate that.
I did.
I
do
appreciate
too,
that.
yeah.
This is a beautiful conversation.
It really is. It is.
It really is.
Conversation.
That I could do for like a half an hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there markers? Are the markers for him different than for your other kids? Like the milestone
Yeah.
markers?
Yes. So now every child with Down syndrome is going to have their own unique path. And most kiddos with Down syndrome will actually reach their milestones for crawling and for walking and for talking, but it's usually delayed.
Okay.
Now, sometimes it's not delayed much, and sometimes it's right on time, which is kind of shocking and amazing. But yeah, it's unique.
Okay.
Every child is unique. On average, I would say most children, I was told from another mama that a doctor had shared that most kiddos with Down syndrome are about 6 to 12 months behind on things. Now, sometimes more, sometimes less. So, yeah, so Nate right now, being 20 months old, he is army crawling. He's not yet crawling up on all fours. But he has 4 others probably cheering him on.
That's right.
Yeah, so they get to encourage him and
love it.
You're going to have the greatest older kids.
Yeah.
They are going to be compassionate, kind.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're
they
gonna
are.
be the best people.
They really
because
are, and
he
I
is
can
in
see
their
it
life.
already.
They're going to protect him.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show and sharing a little bit about your life. I am so blessed by your story. Thank you so much. And when we come back, we will have our tip for the day.
For generations, Dick's Home Care has been providing the best equipment and service for patient care at home. Stay in your home without worry with Bruno mobility products from Dick's Home Care. Bruno has the highest rated stair lift of any brand. They're American-made quality stair lifts and are expertly installed in less than a day. Keep your loved one at home and safe from falls on the stairs with a Bruno stair lift. Call the leader in home medical equipment, Dick's Home Care.
Next week, we're going to have my friend Sean Tice join us, and then we're going to have a discussion, does expected forgiveness bring about sin?
Well, I was just telling you guys, I started writing a book for fatherless guys over 16 years ago. This is the book right here. I brought a copy just to show you. But this book was birthed out of my whole story of growing up fatherless. And I grew up in Duncansville, Pennsylvania, actually Altoona area, but when I was a baby, we lived in Cross Keys Trailer Park in Duncansville.
All that and more coming up next week on Man Up.
So today's tip probably would have been a little more useful a little sooner since the kids are all back in school by now, but here it is. My son is 9 years old and is not good with putting matching outfits together for school. So I always make sure to lay them out the night before, which works, but I actually found a better way to do it, at least for me. I bought this bin system that has 5 drawers, and I labeled each drawer with a day of the week. So then on Saturday or Sunday, I place a pair of shorts, shirt, socks, and underwear in each drawer. This helps me in a couple ways. 1, my boy knows which drawer to go to find everything that he needs to wear for the day. And then 2, I don't need to find things each night for the next week, which I appreciate because our nights can be pretty busy. And lastly, I don't want to have to worry about him waking me up in the morning because there is an issue with his clothes. So I know if you know me, you know I like my sleep. And I have found that it just makes me feel more organized, and he actually likes it too. If this is something that stresses you out, why not give it a try? The bin I got was less than $20 from Walmart, and then I used some letter stickers I had at home to label the days. So until next time, let's talk about it.